Hi, everyone. Today we have, before actually, Kat, are you able to record on your end? Or if
Yeah,
not, that's
absolutely.
fine. That'd be awesome. I
You're
could send
talking
you
to
the
a
link for it.
professional.
I know. It's great.
For some reason, my mic has only been recording mono, so you'll just have to fix that.
Mono's what we use. We're
Okay,
very old
perfect.
school. We use Skype until way too late. And
Rip.
yep, yeah, one of the many things that those companies. Anyway, um, okay. Hey everyone, we have a special edition of the One Piece podcast today. With me for this special occasion, Dr. Bentlin is joining us. How are you?
Good. Hi. Thank you for having me again. So excited to talk to Kat today.
Do you want to give a short introduction as to? I feel like I tried to
Uh,
introduce you to Kat before and I did a very bad job.
Absolutely. So I am Riley Bentlin, also known as the One Piece Doctor. I am an academic on anime and manga studies. I travel across the country to present research in academia based specifically on One Piece. Last year, I went all the way from LA to New York to Chicago to Texas. This year, again, starting with all the trips, I've been focusing on researching One Piece academically for the last 10 years of my life. And I'm very excited to be here with you. I am from the University of Illinois. That's where I currently work. So I connect with students and all kinds of researchers on anime studies every day, and I love that about my life. So very excited
That's
to be
so
here.
cool. That's
Thank
so
you.
cool. It's so nice to meet you.
By the way, we're talking with Kat Abughazaleh today, who is running for the Illinois Ninth District for Congress. Kat, I should have probably introduced you first. I'm now
Nah, who
realizing.
cares? Hi, I'm Kat. I'm running for Congress in the Ninth District of Illinois, which goes from uptown Chicago up to Evanston, West Muskogee, and then all the way to Algonquin and Crystal Lake. If you know anyone there, tell them to vote. If you don't, then let's talk about One Piece.
I
I'm
got
really
as ma
excited.
I got as many as many of your constituents or future constituents as I possibly could today. We also have she was a reporter and you still are, right? Kirsten, Carrie, and musician. How's it going, Kirsten?
Hello, hello. Yes. Musician, definitely, yes, still. Reporter. Let's say I found a nicer gig that's so cool I can't talk about it.
Oh, right, I forgot
Um,
about that.
yeah. But
NDA.
NDAs. But yes, I proud Chicago constituent even though I currently live in Japan. So
But can absentee
very
vote,
excited.
which we talked
But
about.
can absentee vote, which is very important.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone get your votes in if you cannot vote in person. Very excited to be here today.
This is our One Piece get out the vote.
Get out to vote.
And
One
last but not,
one
yeah,
piece
sorry.
go to the polls.
Don't. That's very 2016.
I think it's very relevant.
Yeah, One Piece go to the. I feel like we could do better than that though. We and finally, we have our TikTok sensation golfer. How's it going, golfer? That's what I'm calling you.
Fantastic. I know, and you love that. But the next time you put my face on a podcast, don't block out at the art. I felt so bad
I don't. What?
on the art on Spotify. My face is blocking out some of. It's blocking out pantsless summers.
Oh yeah, on YouTube. You're right. I'm sorry.
No need to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's a fascistic pantsless person. Anyway, Kat, thank you so much for coming on. And I know you started saying that One Piece is apolitical, which is a very bold
We
stance.
all know that One Piece is apolitical, is never
Yeah.
referenced anything about anti-fascism. It's never been. Why can't we just enjoy media nowadays? Why do we always have to bring politics into it?
How
I
dare we?
thank you. Just it's the worst.
Brave.
Except
I've
that
watched one season of One Piece, which is why I'm really glad there are no queer characters in it.
it's true. None.
None.
Um,
Zero.
where are you currently in the story for real?
For real, like I was right after time skip, so I was in the middle of being
Huh.
underwater. I restarted as a campaign show for me to watch, and I am at the end of Skypiea, which is one of my favorite arcs, Sky Palestine. Um,
You are correct on all of that.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once again, not political.
No. I might as well ask you because Skypiea is a lot of our favorites.
People hate on
What
Skypiea way too much. Wiper's like the coolest character and should have come on the boat. I would have loved him to be a part of the crew. He's so cool.
We disregard
He is.
anybody that says to skip Skypiea. That's instant blasphemy.
Absolutely. It's so important
Yes.
to everything.
That's a good pun too, golfer, because it's all about Um, yeah. So like, so you're at Fishman Island? I get that is a harder slog to get through, but I think everything after that only gets more apolitical. I think
Only more apolitical every single
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like very pro prison, very
Yes.
pro
Oh yeah.
very pro fascist. They just want
Yes.
stuff like the good old days,
Pro state violence.
Pro
Pro
state violence for
information
sure.
control.
Love information control. Like everything that ICE is doing, Luffy would fuck with heavy.
100%. Luffy would be at the front of everything fighting for it.
Exactly. Luffy would be like, why can't we all just get along?
Yeah,
No,
that sounds like him.
It's like one of these things. So I had a very good friend who we used to do stand up together. And if any of y'all have ever done stand up, guys are really weird. And he was like the one straight man on the circuit that didn't try to sleep with me. And we were both from the same hometown. And so we really bonded and we'd watch anime together. When I started One Piece, he was so excited. And then we got into like a little spat and didn't really talk for a bit. And I thought he was mad at me. And so I invited him to my birthday party. And I knew that like all he wanted to do was see the end of One Piece. It was like his favorite thing in the world. And he said he'd be there and then he didn't show up. So I thought that Jay just hated me. I kept trying to text him and my number would go to green. I thought he blocked me. And then at a Christmas party last year, I randomly met someone who was part of the DC, New York comedy scene when that was in Chicago. And I mentioned Jay and I was like, how is he doing? And it turns out he died the day before my birthday. He had a massive heart attack at like 33. I miss him a ton.
Jeez.
He would have found it very funny that that's how I found out. But I am determined to finish One Piece because he never got to. So every time I watch it, I think about him. And I hope he's watching it from wherever he is now.
I'm so sorry. That's a really beautiful story though.
Yeah. So anytime I'm like, oh, I got to take a break, I'm like, but I have to come back because we're getting to the end.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, they say we are.
Like this is the final saga, but this is a saga that's 10 years.
Yeah, I mean every saga is like 10. I think we have a while. I don't think as I say, I feel like I have more. If this were my only job, I'd have a ton of job security. So we asked new guests a few, like kind of hazing ritual questions. That there's only one right answer for these.
Awesome.
So you can't get them wrong.
Cool.
The first one, who is your favorite Straw Hat?
Again, only one right answer.
Only one right answer. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going
Wow,
to be
what a shocker.
contrarian. I'm not going to be contrarian for
I
no.
just had this delivered.
I mean,
What
I love my girl
shocker is that,
Nami,
though?
but I love pre-time skip Zoro. He's so smiley and laughy, and I miss him. But I think Sanji overall, he just always comes in clutch. Super underrated. IMO.
Zoro in Skypiea is
Delightful.
best Zoro.
Best boy.
Love him. Yeah, he's with the Tarzan stuff, and I'm sure I'm talking to many of our fans with the blue tank top, and the whole thing is fantastic.
Also, him in Arlong Park, just stealing
Yes.
clothes and hanging out the whole time. I also didn't realize while rewatching, the only reason he meets Luffy is just because he got lost on the ocean. Like it's
forgot
literally
about
a
that,
throwaway line. He's just like, yeah, I just was trying to find my way back home and I couldn't, so I started bounty hunting, and I guess I'm here now.
I've met people with that kind of sense of direction. I thought it was a little far-fetched, but it is real.
My field director calls me Zorro whenever we're somewhere because I just always turn the wrong way.
I love it. You have a perfect campaign staff, which I knew before that, but that just solidifies it for me. Second question, who is your favorite antagonist in the series?
Ooh. I got to think about this.
I could come back to that if you want.
Yeah, I'll come back to it.
Yeah. So my third
I'm like,
is...
I haven't watched it in 2 months because it has been the last stretch of the campaign. So I'm
I
literally gonna
understand.
look up a list so I can pick my faves. I mean, okay, no, actually, this is way easier than I thought. Crocodile.
Oh, he's so cool.
He's so
He's
cool.
so cool.
He's so
Yeah.
cool. Everyone's always fucking complaining, and he's just like, "Fuck it, we ball, let's go!" Like everything right before time skip is so cool. He's so
was all
fucking
about
sick.
business.
He's all about business. He's So large. He's got a big ass hook. Like easy. That's so easy. I don't even know why I had to think
He's
about this.
he's best dressed by that point in the show. Like
Yeah.
he is the coolest
Yes.
looking character by the
In
time you
Impel
meet him.
Down or in Alabasta? Because both is the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Impel Down,
Yes.
but like both, yeah.
Yes, I love
He's
his
way
Impel
cooler
Down
in
thing.
Impel Down. It's
He
so
was
Yeah.
good.
living in a desert and still wearing the suit and everything. Like that man
Where did he
was.
get that? I don't. Do they ever explain that? I think Ivankov may have had that. I forget.
Aura. Just aura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're right. It just appears. That's
I
true.
did have to explain Aura to Zach last episode of One Piece podcast. So
I'm in my
or,
30s. Oh, I'm in my
Aura
late
farming.
30s.
I'm
Yeah, that's what it
31.
was. Yeah, and I'm
Late 30s,
30.
31.
I don't like that. The the third question, which is your favorite character that does not fit in one of those categories?
Wiper.
Oh, yeah. You know what? My next question was going to be who's the super obscure character. I don't think Wiper's that
He's not
super
really obscure. Just everyone forgot about him. He's so fucking sick. He's so
Yeah,
cool. Like every
he
time he does
is.
like a reject dial, he looks cool as shit. Like he's best dressed. It's super underrated arc, super underrated character,
Mhm.
and I'm a ride or die.
I am not a big tabletop player, but the one we did on our show way back, I had my character was dial based, because those things are awesome
Yeah.
and
They're
underrated and
so
forgotten.
sick.
They
We need to
are.
see more dial action.
We do
Also,
need more
Bring
dial
it
action.
back.
the
Yeah.
filler arc right after Skypiea, I can't
Yes.
remember, is so much
G8.
fun. Yeah, it's
It's
so much
so
fun.
good.
It's such a blast and very also underrated. Like people just skip it because it's filler, but I literally had my best friend. I was like, "We're gonna watch this. It's rainy. Let's go watch this entire thing. Worth it."
I remember getting to that arc like and being shocked that it wasn't in the manga and that Foxy was in the manga. Like I thought those were
Foxy's
reversed.
Foxy's underrated too, though. I mean, here on the
Yeah,
podcast, we like
but
that's just us, I guess. But yeah.
yeah. But
Um,
that
yeah.
filler arc feels substantial. Like it serves a purpose.
The only thing that
Great
put
arc.
me off to realizing it was filler is that you just ended the exact same way you started and there were no consequences whatsoever. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, then that makes sense."
Foxy has a little well, not very much actually. What's your
He
favorite story
introduces the
arc?
word Davy Jones.
That's true.
I mean, is it a cop
I,
out to say Impel Down?
No, the cop out
Like
is
it's so
Water
much
7.
fun. I mean, that's also fun, but
No, yeah,
yeah. Um, but yeah, Impel Down is so much fun.
it is.
Oh my God, yeah, I did hate the Foxy
Long Ring
episodes.
Long Land.
I had to stop, like I had to like fast forward, and then it was like, yeah, you get Afro Luffy, but at what cost?
The anime is rough for that. The
Yeah,
manga's very good. The anime does it extremely dirty and adds a bunch of other games like roller derby or
yeah.
something.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't
it's
need that.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
got the Zoro Sanji playing soccer with each other. What
it's
game
the only
is that supposed
exception.
Yeah, when they have
The
the balls
manga's
like on
very
their
good.
heads.
It's a completely
Okay,
different story, really. I'm
okay.
vouching for it. I have to stick up for it, otherwise half the people on my show are going to be very angry at me. What's your favorite opening or ending theme?
I have no idea. I don't have an answer for this.
Hmm,
Oftentimes I skip openings and endings.
well, that
Guys,
might be
I'm
the wrong answer.
I'm busy. I'm busy. Sorry.
Okay, I'll give you an excuse for you, and that's it.
You guys run
No
for
one else does.
Congress.
Yeah, sure. So Golfer and Dr. Bentlin and I did an episode of the show a few months ago, where we were talking. I don't know if you saw the. I'm sure you have. You're like just the epitome of protesting for good things, and being able to like really stand up for what's right.
I
I don't know
try.
if you've seen. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the straw hat flag around though.
Oh my
During.
God, it's so many of them at Broadview, like at the ICE facility that I've been protesting. One of our volunteers actually drove up from like all the way in Southern Illinois, and was wearing like all straw hat gear.
Love it. Yeah, I think, and I think you met a friend of ours at that who was dressed up in all straw hat stuff. I don't know if it's the same person, but we were, I don't, what are your thoughts on seeing that imagery, on the front lines of protesting?
So also sorry, I'm eating chips while I'm mute.
Please, you're the only person my editor, I'm gonna have to let
Yeah, sorry, editor. It's I forget to eat. Um, yeah, so I think stories are the best things that humans have ever created. I think it's um like they so profoundly impacted me throughout my life when I felt like I was, my parents are older. I didn't connect with a lot of my peers, so I spent a lot of my time just reading stories. And they really shaped who I am and what my moral compass is. And so it makes sense that like whether it's One Piece or like The Hunger Games, which also I think gets too much hate because of all the copycats after it. Genuinely a really great piece of anti-fascist fiction, especially for young adults. Or whatever the book, movie, show may be, a lot of times, especially in unprecedented times, when you're relating to these characters that are so permanent in your mind and so strong in your mind, and someone that you really admire, whether or not they're real, um, it's like it makes sense that it's on the front lines. And I think it's something that bonds us all together. It also gives like a bit of comfort and familiarity, especially when, you're seeing there's this idea of like, well, they can do that in the story. I can do it here. Like I can stand for my beliefs here. And genuinely one of my favorite parts of talking with people in this moment is seeing how they relate to this really, really scary time we're in and how they find like a way to find bravery then. Does that make sense? Did I just ramble and say nothing?
No, you rambled and said something. No,
That was nice.
but really, no, it absolutely.
Can I ask
Um,
a follow-up question?
yeah.
So Kat, I am a cultural anthropologist. I study humans and society in the most boring ways that somehow relate to anime. But my question is something that we look in anthropology is understanding something that we name cultural representation that can be in or outside of your culture. Do you feel like One Piece, as someone who's been in the protesting world, ground zero, just working every day for the betterment of everyone, do you feel like One Piece breaks out of those limitations of not being culturally or cultural relevant and it's just applicable to all?
Yeah, I think that's really a good point because there are so, I mean, like you just look at the Straw Hats and they're, representative of so many like countries if you're relating it to here on Earth. There's a lot of diversity, especially in um a medium and genre where like diversity is more of a new concept, especially like racially and especially with women characters. Um and from the start, One Piece has had that. And so it's something that I think the reason it has persisted for so long and has connected with so many people across the world, and that it's like the most sold story in the world in just like 30 years is that people see themselves in there no matter what it is. When we were talking about Skypiea and I was like Sky Palestine, there are also lots of other people who have been displaced, whose families have been displaced, who have seen different forms of colonization and also resonate with that. And I mean, that's just like the human thing to do. We mirror each other and we want to find ways that stories reflect on us. Um, but One Piece is so big and has so much in it. There's so much story in this story that there's something for everyone, as long as you can just like tolerate being a little goofy.
Yeah, I've described it as like a really goofy show with like a once you get into it, it's like just this like extremely emotional, resonant political core. That it's like a candy coated, political message, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. So people are unsuspecting when they find out what's in it. Um, with
because it's an
your
apolitical show.
right.
Hmm.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yes, yes.
It's true. Kirsten Golfer, I don't want to talk too much. If you have specific, no? Okay. Um, so when it comes to your upbringing and um being a Palestinian American, what um what specifically, I guess, besides just Skypiea, has like resonated with you in the series and given you strength during really dark times?
I think even more than like my ethnicity or like who I am, what I was born with, it's like this very strong sense of like justice. Like all of my this can sound so pathetic depending on the audience, but like all of my heroes and all of my role models as a kid were characters in these stories that I had read. It's why I feel really, really strongly about making sure that um kids can read whatever they want. Like my parents were like, let's stop going to Borders. You can read whatever's in our library. So when I was 11, I read Clan of the Cave Bear for the first time, which is like has some very mature themes in there, not just sexually, but about like race and assaults and gender and hierarchy. And they treated me like an adult when I read it. And that character Ayla is still like one of my heroes. And it like grounded this very almost like paladin like sense of justice in me because all the people I admired felt that. And so I see the same in One Piece in pretty much from all the protagonists of this idea of like there is something that matters to you, whether it is your family and friends or whether it is just knowing that something is wrong and actually doing something about it, or like shooting down a flag because that flag doesn't stand for something good. I mean, a big part of my campaign is like the status quo isn't working. I didn't ask for permission to run. I didn't wait in line. I just did it. And sometimes when you see, every time you see something bad, you should do something to make it better and not just be like, well, that's how it is. Look, the flag's already in the air. And it has to stay that way because it doesn't.
Well said. And
Mhm.
prescient in One Piece and in real life. Again, except that it's apolitical.
It's
So,
apolitical.
yeah, yeah. We have to remind people about that. Golfer.
I do feel like it's pretty prevalent nowadays to idolize fictional figures because it feels like everybody in real life can let you
Is in the
down.
Epstein files? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Luffy will never let you down. He might lose a fight. He's never going to lose his sense
He
of
won't be
justice.
he won't be in the Epstein files. I
He
hope.
won't be in the Epstein files,
100%.
or if he will be derogatory from people in the Epstein
Yes.
files, which is
Yeah.
Yes, they're
complimentary.
talking
Yeah.
shit about him.
They'll be
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that idea that like you can actually create a North Star even if it's coming from fiction and from a less than perfect person like Oda that will not let you down in the same way that if you idealize any human being, nobody's perfect. So eventually there is something that will let you down. Even like our greatest political figures in the past, like there's always something to point to.
Yeah.
So I've always found that like a very resonant point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also like this is one thing that I think like there are examples of this, but I do think that is lacking in One Piece is like these characters are so strong in their own ways. I also find, you know, for people I look up to in real life that their fall is not just losing a fight, but like their own mistakes or their own flaws. Really make them relatable and like frankly like look we love our sunshine boy but uh there isn't as much flaw in there, which also makes it really comforting. I don't think this is a bad thing, but I think it is something to note compared to, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Um, let me think on this. I'm trying to think of a good anime example of like a fundamentally flawed character.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, but like I'm trying to think of
Most
one
of them,
that's
yeah.
like this and it's not like in misogyny, you know, which is also something.
That's also
Let me get
pretty
back to it.
prevalent in
Yeah.
anime. Yeah, there's some of that.
Yeah. Like I'm
Um,
trying to think of something that's like well balanced that has good women characters and doesn't just see men as flawed. Red
yeah,
Rising. Red Rising is a great book. If y'all haven't read it, one of my favorite books, Changed My Brain Chemistry. That is a really good example of like fundamentally flawed characters that are like trying to do something and sometimes do really fucked up stuff in the fight against fascism. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but
no, that yeah. I
Absolutely.
think yeah, and I think the Straw Hats. I mean, the series generally, the series generally, I think is kind of whether or not you have to get messy in that fight, or at least to
right.
see kind of an idealized uh version of the like an
It's like
anti-fascistic.
giving us something of like to strive for versus something that we are. And you need both, I think, in storytelling.
Yeah, and I don't even think there's not like a puritanical
No,
aspect
not at
to them.
all.
It's that they're just driven toward like a specific goal. Like Luffy is defined by certain qualities that he will never stray from,
Exactly.
and there's comfort in that. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Bentley. You don't have to raise
So,
your hand. I know it's
uh,
not class.
so Kat, my next question is, you talked a lot about stories that have played a big role in your formative years and probably also in these adult years now as you're fighting for better conditions for everyone, especially in your own professional career. Do you feel like anime, specifically One Piece, but other examples can work too, are good tools to provide to younger audiences so that they can develop a good notion of heroism through protection or some kind of understanding of political inequities?
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. That's perfectly said. Um, there's like when you play a video game that's like really realistic, or you watch a movie that has like violence towards women, and your mom walks in and she thinks you're watching porn because every time the women get hurt, they sound like they're moaning. Um, that's how we have like fully censored um like animation and books from kids in this idea of protecting the children while still exposing them to these really traumatic and mature ideas, but not a safe way. Um, talking about assault in Clan of the Cave Bear was like, I sat down with my mom and I was like, I'm 11, I don't know what this is. And we had like a very like heart to heart about it. And that's how these are safe places to explore these without being desensitized to trauma. Um, I think about like Five O Goes West, which shows like a pogrom in a like kids get it. Kids can understand really mature, grim themes. They're not stupid. But it depends on how you portray it. I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does a fantastic job at showing extremism and genocide in a way that I can't really think of a live action format that has done it as well and as age appropriate as that show. And One Piece does the same of like standing up to fascists and being willing to put everything on the line to protect people and seeing an injustice and not just sitting around. Um, Animation specifically is just like such a great medium because you can be really creative with it. You can show things that are impossible in real life. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with the first season of the Netflix One Piece show. I think they did a great job, like much
Hmm.
better than I could have expected. But it's really difficult to show these ideas that you have, or to communicate things in a way that's appropriate for everyone without traumatizing them um, through other media, unless you're really, really careful. And a lot of creators are not. Um, so yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think this about anime. I think this about books. I think this about manga. Um, we have this like covering the right. There's just this idea that kids are supposed to be like sequestered in like a little bubble until they're 18 and then go to the world, have sex and do drugs or whatever you want. And like, how are you even supposed to know how to safely exist as an adult if you don't explore these themes first?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate that. I mean, I have a 4 and a 1-year-old right now, so that's like a thing I am thinking about all the time. And growing up Jewish, like I always had to inundated by like Holocaust imagery and that has informed me on just like the amount of injustice that was happening in Gaza and the amount of injustice that's happening daily with ICE. And I mean, other people interpret that differently for some reason, but I think it is important to be, available for everything so that you can grow as a person and to develop hopefully morals that help your world, which is anyway, that's my
No, and I'm kind of glad like there was this weird time in the 2010s where everything had to be an anti-hero. And when I say that like
yeah.
I like flawed characters, like that also includes anti-heroes, but I don't necessarily think you have to be anti-hero to be flawed. But then I saw like the new Superman movie and it was just like this fuck ICE free Palestine narrative that was like this is what Superman is. And I think that One Piece has never really like strayed from that of like we have a vision and this is what
Mhm.
the vision is and we're pursuing a goal and we aren't going to compromise our values for it. And that's something that we just like don't didn't see a lot until very recently.
That might be
Yeah.
one of the reasons why it wasn't so popular in the 2010s compared to what it is now. Not just
Yeah.
because the pandemic helped people read and watch a lot of it, but uh, also it's a lot more resonant these days. Kirsten, were you gonna
Between two questions.
try both
Yeah,
at the same
I
time?
both at the same time, two
No, I'm
times.
joking.
I've thought a lot about this penchant. I mean, and you mentioned the Hunger Games, which is a very good counterexample. And Superman, but I feel like there is this sort of part of the reason that I think a lot of people are gravitating to anime over a lot of Western animation and Western shows is that anime gets into more of that black and white area, this sort of like moral nitty gritty that a lot of American media tends to want neat endings, like wants this is good, this is evil, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
and that's not really how the world works. So I was wondering if you could speak to maybe why do you think America has this penchant to present things this way? Um, and the tell, of course, is that a lot of American youth aren't engaging and are going to anime instead. But
Yeah. Well, I think also there's this aspect of a lot of our media here is made with the intention of like, well, we have to do this formula so that way people will watch this thing. Like the fact that people were like Sinners and One Battle After Another and these really creative screenplays that we've seen in the last year have been because of people going out on a limb. But I feel like a lot of times, especially with like TV and especially TV that's like on TV, you can kind of like guess the ending every time and you can guess what's going to happen. You can see all these things. And one thing that's cool about manga and anime is there's like it's not everything is created for the Nielsen ratings. Like of course there are tropes, of course there are shitty endings. I'm talking to you, Tokyo Revengers. Of course there are, you know, things that we see again and again as in any culture, in any storytelling medium. But there's like this, you have more creativity and the oh, there's my cat. Hi, baby. Um, there's a
Cat interruptions are
cat
encouraged.
interruptions really encouraged. Awesome.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
wondering if we were going to see your cat because of the cat tree in the background.
she might go on the cat tree, baby. Um, but I think people are like also bored of traditional media. I know for me, I'm sick of seeing real people. When I covered Fox, I only watched anime because I was like, I'm watching the worst people in the world every single day, and I can't do this.
I could
But
imagine. I can't imagine actually.
there's just also like I think part of it is we don't teach media literacy in America, and for whatever reason, animation, I think, allows people to be a little more creative in their interpretation. It allows you to flex that muscle. And so I think that's another reason that young people are gravitating towards anime. Like it's not just nostalgia, it's also the idea that, like, wow, you can have your own interpretation of what's happening. And it's not also like a thing with Stranger Things where I mean, everyone does debate anime. That's a bad example, but I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. I have 39 days till the election, so my brain is full of so many things, and I
I was
just want to
gonna.
talk about anime, but I'm thinking about also the election. Um,
You could talk about that too.
nah, I don't want to.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to connect to something you said that I thought was really important. You said that we don't teach media literacy, and
Yeah,
I
that
think that that's extremely relevant. In the field of anime and manga studies in academia, one trend that I have observed in the last 5 years is that almost all of our papers have to be prefaced with a how to read this properly when we talk about our
really,
subject matter. And you see
Hmm.
that in all the publications in the two major journals and everything that I've submitted for publication. Like there, a lot of the people who are looking at what gets published in anime studies are asking that you provide that how-to guide for the audience, and that's something that you don't see in fields of study outside of the United States, or when you look at international journals there's like a big shift of that, and
that's
it's
really
because
interesting.
yeah, it's because our audiences don't know, they don't have that knowledge from basic education at how to look at the media entertainment outlet and read it critically instead of just superficially, and I think it applies to everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like it's also part of this of like we're basically using our classrooms as test subjects for AI.
Mm.
And kids like don't know how to read or how to critically think. And I don't mean to sound like a boomer here, but that's important, being able to read and critically think. um and also I'm not sure about y'all, this really frustrating trend where people are completely incapable of understanding that just because someone is the protagonist does not mean they're the good guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
Like
Yep.
there was so much discourse about Marty Supreme. I saw someone be like, well, it wasn't a good movie because the main character wasn't good. And I'm like, that's not what makes a movie good. That's That's not what characters have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows old No Country for Old Men,
Yes. Continue, Curse.
Joker, all
Joker.
these movies. Actually, Joker is a sort of depressing example because people
Yeah.
thinking that he
That's.
was the good guy is exactly what created that whole issue.
Yeah.
I
I
just
mean,
wanted to
there's.
see how you were going to twist into knots to say Anton Chigurh was the good guy.
Nope, can't do it. Sorry.
I mean, this could go for anyone, but Kat. What do you think when you do see characters you love, One Piece characters or not, twisted, since you unfortunately had to like delve into the right, like how what does it do to you when you see your, beloved characters twisted in a way that it's like, come on, what are you even reading or watching? It's not the same thing as I am.
Um, let me grab something real quick because I'm about to go on a
Please
rant
do.
and I want to make sure I'm prepared.
Okay.
Rant preparation.
Take this opportunity to let my cat in the room.
I have my dog here, but she's sleeping probably.
So fascists are fundamentally incapable of having any creativity or understanding art in any way, shape, or form. We just saw the White House copied our fake attack ad. They with like AI slop. They can't even copy things. They have to do it worse. They're just bad. They're bad at art. They're bad at treating people right. Fuck fascists, and also they're losers. I just really, really need to stress that. And it's so crazy how they can absolutely warp anything in their mind that is overtly anti-fascist to be like, this isn't political. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the anti-drag queen people, to see the transphobes, fucking see the live action season with Impel Down.
Or even Bon
That,
Clay and
or even Bon Clay. Like,
yeah.
I cannot fucking wait. It's like it is absolutely, especially in like anime and sci-fi related spaces, particularly like white men have to do like will twist themselves into knots to convince themselves that like a woman character is a bitch or that character isn't actually gay or that character like I think that you've read Red Rising. Someone here, I saw someone raise their hand, but there are so many characters that are people of color, and when you're in the Red Rising subreddit and you mention that, people will be like, no, they're not. And it's like clearly described, like the color of their skin. And yet they refuse to acknowledge it. And then when they talk about characters that all of us love so much, specifically because they're not like the idea of watching a story and being like not taking anything from it and just thinking that a story is a series of events that you're watching and has no moral to it. Like it's just like things that happen in a row and then you're like, wow, that was cool. That's ludicrous to me. I cannot be friends with someone that doesn't want to dissect a story and a character into 50 million little parts. If I watch a movie with you afterwards, I want us to talk about that movie for like an hour. One of my best friends I met on anime Tumblr because we would just spend hours every single day during the pandemic talking about episodes that we'd watch together. Like, it is just like, it's hard to put myself in the place of fascists that keep trying to talk about how this is anti-woke or that, isn't actually the way that liberals are trying to interpret it when they're trying to act like these very political. It's like when they talk about MLK like he wasn't a socialist. And it's like, no, you're making a fantasy in your mind and you're an idiot and you're a loser. And I'm sorry, I just have to rant about that. You're bad at watching media, and that should be easy because you're watching it. You're not even doing something physical. Your brain is too small.
I would give a standing ovation, but golfer.
Kat, I think you would understand
nuts.
this because like
Yes.
the amount of time you spent like actually making videos on TikTok, the idea that like stories and content have somehow become one for those people, that it's just something to consume. It's not actually something to digest.
Our whole country is consumption. It's gambling
Yeah.
and Nazis and consumption.
And it leads to nothing for them. Like nothing comes out the other end. Like there's no growth with that. There a lot of
Now
the
I
folks
feel
that
like a boomer.
a lot of the folks that talk about JJK online, there's an explicitly trans character, and one character doesn't realize that Kirara is trans.
Kirara, yes.
And Panda says one time after not meeting Kirara for 3 years, oh, that's a boy. And then everybody else uses she, her pronouns, but they will fight you to the ends of the earth that the only person on the planet that understands this character is the literal Panda brought to life.
It's so fucking insane. Or like people that were trying to talk about like Ymir and Attack on Titan not being lesbian. And I was like,
she was literally in love with Historia.
She was literally in love with Historia. She literally declared her undying love to Historia, and Historia was in love with her too.
Yeah, she sacrificed herself for her at the end.
Yeah.
Also, that is one where like Attack on Titan, there's like all this anti-fascist shit in it, and then at
Oh,
the end, you can just tell that the author like was too committed, like loved Aaron too much, and he was like, "Well, I can't make him the bad guy." So the end is like genocide is good, actually,
yeah,
or
yeah. That series I have very I
The
don't
ending is
yeah.
questionable.
Well, like you could already tell it. Like I don't know if he's purposely doing it, but it feels like it's glorifying kind of like speaking of the apolitical on the other end of it, or quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
gonna get the whole Attack on Titan fan base at us then. I
yeah.
don't
I
need
mean,
come at me. I don't
I
care.
I say
to.
this I
This is
say
why I
this as
can't do what you do.
someone for whom Attack on Titan, I call it my problematic fave. But like I've been thinking a lot in the last months about how Attack on Titan has been largely co-opted by the right and features in a lot of
Mm.
imagery for like the right and like right-wing memes, whereas like One Piece has been co-opted by the left and features a lot in protests and memes and things related to the left. And it's made me very grateful for One Piece. And it's made me question what it is in Attack on Titan that has spawned all those memes. And I
I
think
think
there's a
part of
lot of
it is like it's a
literature on that.
gateway anime for a lot of people
Yeah.
because like especially the first three seasons are so good, and then it's like, and honestly, I think the last ones were animated really well and like drawn really well, but very confusing ending. Once again, I'm thinking about it and not just watching it. Um, but like Red Rising, which I know I've talked about 50 times, no one asked me to, is literally about a space empire that does eugenics to create a subservient class system of humans after billionaires nuked the entire Earth's surface like 1,000 years ago. And all of these classes are genetically manipulated and their cultures are manipulated to keep them breeding or optimized for a certain job in one way or another. And then chuds on the Red Rising subreddit literally every day will be like, stop making this political. Stop making it political. This isn't political. This is actually just a good story. Good stories are
Oh,
political. Come
Yeah.
at me.
I just
yes.
feel like I need to
The
read
best
it because
ones.
And
Sorry,
I
Golfer.
you're good. I was just saying I feel like I need to read it because now I love when anybody gets called a chud for completely misinterpreting a story. So now I feel like I need to dive into it.
I'm gonna tell you the first book is
Same.
very fun. It was but you can tell that it was written right when Hunger Games came out because Pierce Brown wanted to get a book deal to write the most insane space opera of all time. So you'll read the first book and you'll be like, yeah, this is fun. And then you'll get to the second book and like 5 pages in, you're like, oh Jesus, I don't even remember the first book. It's basically like a prequel for the rest of the series. Anyways, change my brain chemistry. Everyone read it. Red Rising. I plug it everywhere. Pierce Brown noticed me.
Big
I think
listener
one
of
of
the One Piece podcast. Yes.
I
I
hope
think one
so.
of the things
Maybe.
that Kat really resonates with me from what you're saying is you're talking about this chosen political obliviousness that people are going with, and I think it's just a coping mechanism to not face the discomfort that everything is political. Because
Yes.
as humans, that's part of who we are as a society. Like, no media content that we create can be apolitical because we do not live in an apolitical society. It's just
Yeah.
it's such a basic notion for anthropologists, for sociologists, people in my field, that we know that everything will have some degree of influence from all kinds of political aspects. People who say it's not political, I don't think they're pushing themselves to really see past the superficial, I just want to be comfortable level. They're not ready to face the discomfort that everything is political.
Like I have people that come to the campaign office wanting to get involved and like I'm not really political, but I don't like what ICE is doing. And I'm like, guess what, baby? You're political. Welcome to the club. We're all here and we're in it together. Everything is political. And that doesn't mean that everything has to be boring or combative or bad, but everything is political. The fact that you can't afford to go to the doctor, that's political. The fact
Mhm.
that your neighbor's afraid of going outside, that's definitely political. And we have purposely created a system that allows people to not be involved in politics because we want to keep them ignorant and not know that things can change.
So, I mean, that kind of leads nicely into one of the points that I completely forgot I wanted to mention. But like, how do you suggest? I'm sure like we have a lot of listeners who are quote unquote apolitical, whether they know it or not. They would be political, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who read or watch One Piece and they get the messages, but what can they do in this time? What would you suggest? And yeah.
I always try to stress to people that you can just do stuff. Like you can do stuff. I mean, the risk calculus is slightly different now because we have the secret police, but the vast
Mm.
majority of your actions will not result in like you being put into jail for life or dying. If someone is screaming at a waiter at a restaurant, you can tell them to knock it off and that they seem like an asshole. And probably someone that was around you at that time will see that and do it the next time that that happens in front of them. If you see trash on the street, you can pick it up. If you see, your old neighbor struggling to get the groceries inside, you can help them. If everyone's contribution looks different, but find out what you like to do and where your courage is and do it. And it doesn't have to be some big thing. It doesn't have to be running for office. It doesn't have to be, fighting in some revolution. It can literally be just knowing what's happening around you and helping people when you can. And one example I give, I had a stalker in high school. It was a fellow classmate, and it was really traumatic. It was really awful. I went to Catholic school, so like I was punished for it, obviously. And I we had this thing called Kairos, which is like a student retreat type thing. And it's the only thing I've ever seen teenagers respect. Any traumatic stuff you talk about on Kairos, if someone tells others about it, you are excommunicated from school. No one will talk to you. And we have like these separate little retreats after. And I decided to talk about my experience being stalked by a classmate. He wasn't there, and I didn't mention his name. But like a little bit in, I had a teacher stop me and say that I couldn't say this because I would be embarrassing another student. And so I just said, all right, thanks, and walked out the door and got in my car and drove away. And the teacher chased me out and wasn't breaking any rules. One of my friends came out with me. We went to go get Indian food after that, and they called my parents to like complain, but there were no consequences. And the next year was when Me Too happened. And a bunch of girls who were in that room were willing to speak out about a consistent predator in their class and DM'd me to let me know that their experience in that gave them the strength to do it later because they realized that like it's not a crime to speak out. It's not a crime to do something different. Just do that thing that you're thinking about. If you think something is wrong, just do what you can to fix it.
Yeah, that's very well said.
Another, imagine a standing ovation.
Yes. Um, does anyone else have any other questions? I don't want to keep Kat too long. You only have 39 days to
39 days.
39 days. Where can people find and support you and support your cause and knock fascism down?
So if you live in the Chicago area or you know someone that lives in the Chicago area, tell everyone you know to learn about our campaign. My district goes from uptown Chicago up to Evanston, West Muskogee, all the way to Crystal Lake and Algonquin. We need all the help we can get. APAC has jumped into our race. I'm currently wearing our Fuck It, Let's Be APAC merch. I am one of 3 candidates that has a shot at winning this thing, and I'm the only of those 3 candidates that has never met with APAC or written a position paper for APAC. I am the one who's under federal indictment for protesting ICE. I am the one that has been using our campaign resources to help people right now. We need your help to win. So if you live in the area, tell everyone you know that's in the district to vote just in general and let them know about our campaign. And if you don't, text your Chicago friends. You don't have to know where they live. Just text them about the campaign. Say, have you heard about us? Our website is catforillinois.com, cat with a K. We also have a Discord, discord.gg/catforillinois. When is this coming out?
That's a good question. Probably soon.
Okay.
I want to get it out as far before the election as I can for you.
Awesome. Well, I was going to say, because I know my audience here. We do live streams as well. We don't do this thing called call time, which is when politicians spend all their day calling rich people and asking for money. We live stream, and you can find our links on our website, catforillinois.com. But on Sunday, Matt Mercer from Critical Role will be joining us. He also voiced our fake attack ad. So if this comes out before then, please join us for that. It's a lot of fun. Ship in if you can. If you can't, phone bank for us, text bank for us, knock doors for us. And even if you can, do those things too. Phone banking and text banking help us reach a lot of people, young and old. We are trying to bring out everyone, and we are trying to show that progressive populism actually can win in an apolitical way, just like One Piece.
I was trying to see who Matt Mercer voiced in One Piece because I'm sure it was someone because everyone has done.
Room. It's Law.
Oh yeah, he voiced Law. Yeah, Law.
Oh yeah, I should have known that
on our fucking stream. Law also voiced our fake attack ad, where it's like Kat Abughazaleh believes you should be able to afford housing, groceries, and healthcare.
I saw that was excellent. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and that's why it got stolen much worse, I guess. I also gotta say, I'm so happy we managed to get you on. I was shocked that you answered, and I'm
No, I was
humbled
so
that you came
excited,
on.
and every single time we were supposed to record, I like got indicted or like
Indicted.
something fucking crazy happened with the campaign and I couldn't come on. And I was like, we have to make this happen. So we got a new press secretary, and I was like, it has to happen. You
Something
have to do it.
crazy like
Really
talking to
appreciate it.
Hassan. We got bumped for Hassan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
bump for
cool.
Hassan. Sorry,
No,
guys.
I mean it's Hassan. I get it. I get
We
it.
reached so many young people with that.
He's a One Piece fan, so it's
Yeah.
okay. Um, I think he had like a One Piece poster behind you.
He did.
No, that's fine. Yeah. And yeah, indicted is a pretty, I guess it's okay. I mean, like, I know you weren't seeking that out. But I cannot stress enough, if you live in Chicago and the Chicago Evanston area, please vote for Kat. You first political endorsement of the One Piece podcast. But
I'm very
yeah, so
honored.
happy
Thank
to
you.
have you on. Yes.
Next,
First and
Marjorie Taylor
only?
Greene.
Oh no.
Look,
No.
I didn't say it. You guys did before we
No, I
started.
don't think
I
I
was
said
really,
that.
I was really, really disgusted, and I was like, guys, that's horrible. Don't believe her. She doesn't
And
care about
yet
Palestinians.
yet you stay here the whole time to talk about One Piece with
I did
us.
it so I could expose you guys at the end.
Oh, well, you know it's gonna
Just
happen.
kidding. They didn't say that. They're not gonna. I'm the
What?
only one.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Kat, for coming on the show. Hopefully we could have you on when things calm down a little bit at some
I
point
would
in the
love
future.
that, and hopefully
Yeah.
I'll be past time skip on my rewatch.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, just thank you so much. And if you guys want a real anime fan, real gamer in Congress, vote for me. Tell your friends
Done
Yeah.
deal.
We need more
Been
One
a
Piece fans in
pleasure.
Congress. Yeah. Who understand it.
who understand it.
That's apolitical. This has been the One Piece podcast. Huge thanks to Kat Abughazaleh for coming on the show today. Immediate final thoughts on the interview and where things go in the One Piece political sphere now. Kirsten.
Vote.
Oh,
Everyone,
okay.
please vote. I also say this for myself because I need to get some absentee ballot stuff worked out. But if I can get my absentee ballot stuff worked out, you sure can too. If you're not in the U.S. or if you are, get out. I think this is going to be quite important. And also maybe on a slightly, more personal note, like I'm in Japan right now. Japan's laws are that even if you become a permanent resident, you cannot vote,
Hmm.
which sucks. And it's really made me reflect a lot about what that right means, and that it's not something that you should take for granted. So do it.
100%. Sorry, one sec. Almost done. Golfer, final thoughts.
Yeah, just kind of piggyback on what Kirsten's saying. As messed up as the United States is, we have the right to vote. If you've got the able body and the time and the mind to do so, like the most important thing you can possibly do for your civic duty, other than helping your neighbor out. Um, so I don't know. It'd be hard to convince Luffy to vote, but shouldn't be that hard to convince you to vote.
It depends if meat is involved. If you bribe
That's
him, then
true.
I feel like you could do it. But would he research anything about them? He'd probably go by like name or something.
Who did Nami vote for? That's who he'd vote for.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah,
Because
you're right.
no way he's piggybacking off of Zoro or
No.
Sanji or
No.
Usopp.
Maybe
It's gonna
Robin.
be Nami.
Usopp maybe Usopp. I could
Yeah,
see
I could see Usopp being a
Usopp could
responsible
do it.
voter.
He would be. He definitely would be. He'd be out there. But he'd be also too scared to do anything he wouldn't get indicted, I don't think.
Luffy
Uh,
would, actually, despite not
Luffy
voting.
Luffy
would get
probably
indicted.
is already. I wouldn't be surprised. Dr. Bentlin, what about you? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I think the conversation was very interesting. It was very enriching. I think right now in our country, there's a lot of times of unrest and political chaos. So it's good to have a fresh voice that is fighting for the good causes. I always go back to this quote that history belongs to the ones who participate in it. So
Hmm.
if you want to be part of the good side of history, as One Piece has taught us, participate, raise your voice, and really lift the people that are fighting for all the good causes. So I'm thankful for this platform to talk about those things.
Sure. And where could people find you, Dr. Bentlin?
Yes, I am on Blue Sky. I am the One Piece Doctor at bluesky.social, and I post all about research updates, papers, upcoming trips. I'm going to be presenting at C2E2, the pop culture convention in Chicago, in a couple of weeks, actually in March. And I'm going to be on a panel about anime manga studies. So if you want to see where I'm going and where I'm traveling to talk about more One Piece papers, follow me there. Thank you.
Thank you. Golfer, where could people find you?
Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all the same name, Golfer Gare. I'm not on Blue Sky yet. I'm still a little young for that.
Wow.
Wow.
You're older than me, golfer.
I'm young at heart. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Twitter, I won't get started there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an age thing at this point. No, but you'll get there. You'll get some gray at some point. It has to happen. Kirsten, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at KIRCAREYGTR. And you can find me on Blue Sky without the GTR bit.
You'll find that guitar one day.
I'll find my guitar one day on Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky. You can follow me, ZachLogan.com on Blue Sky. If you haven't, check out the One Piece podcast. We release episodes every week talking about the latest chapter of the manga. But even if you're not caught up, it's still a lot of fun. You could also join us on Patreon at patreon.com/slash One Piece podcast. You could check out our Patreon exclusive series, Forced to Watch 4Kids, in which our hosts Steve and Alex watch the entire 4Kids dub of One Piece and talk about it. That one's great. You could also join our Sticker of the Month Club, where you could get a sticker every month from one of the amazing pieces of art that gets drawn for every episode of our show. And we also have alternate art, alternate titles, and exclusive early releases for episodes like this, and a lot more. So patreon.com/slash One Piece podcast. I hope you're subscribed by the end of the sentence. And yeah, go out there and vote. It's been said, more important during these times than any. Not that they're not always. Fortunately, they're always the most important elections of our lifetime, but this continues to be true. And let's just get more the correctly political people who are also One Piece fans into Congress. I think that's great. Um, Once we get, a plurality of Congress as One Piece fans, I think we'll be in good shape as a country finally. Um, Maybe. We'll see. But until next time, hope you join us for a future episode of the podcast. My name is Zach. We'll see you next time, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.